Welcome to the Headlight Restoration Pro, where I'll be showing you what to do and what not to do, and things you should be doing to get your headlights going from this to looking something more like this. I have done thousands of headlights in the past, as well as other things associated with vehicles, but headlights is my thing. Let's get down to business. The first and most important rule about headlight restoration is a proper tape off. As you can see there, I'm folding, flossing the tape in between the light and the actual vehicle or whatever else surrounds the headlight. This process should be repeated all the way around the light, where the light meets the vehicle. This is so you do not scratch or damage the vehicle in any way. This comes in handy, especially if you do this for a living or a business or just a paid customer. Or better yet, even if it's your own car, you don't really want to mess that shit up. Overlapping is king, as you see. You must overlap the tape. Never try to butt the tape up to each other. If you overlap an inch or two or three, that's fine. That's just added protection. So with that being said, double layer is a must. Overlapping is king. Always work in one direction. I usually start from the center inside part to the outside to complete the circle around the headlight. This is easier for when you're removing the tape. It generally comes off in one swoop or near. We'll have some more about taping on other videos, but now let's get down to it. Pay attention to how dry and dusty the surface of the headlight is. This is a good thing because we are dry sanding. In my opinion, in my experience of over 1,000 headlights and doing it tons, dozens of different ways, this is the most efficient way to truly know that you are doing a proper job, and the outcome and the results of this, what I call proper headlight restoration, which is through the dry sanding method, is just second to none. There's nothing compared to it. I've done the wet, I've done all kind of crazy things, and outcomes of headlight restoration, this method is far superior. You be the judge. Look at a couple of my samples. We have a web page available soon. It just comes out so much better, crystal clear, and it lasts longer. And in future tutorials, I'll be explaining to you why this is further in detail. For this step here, I am using a regular household drill, nothing heavy duty. The light ones actually work better as far as the RPM rating and also being able to handle the drill itself. I'm also using a 3M P500 sanding disc, gold or yellow sanding disc, as some call it. And this by far, to me, is the best sanding disc to use for this step. I've tried many others. They just fall apart. You can't even get through a whole headlight before you need another one. In most cases, 3M products tend to be more superior than others. I don't have any endorsements. I'm not getting paid to say that. It just is what it is. Pay attention to those swirls before you fast forward. It's just a good measure of getting all of the oxidation out of the light. There's no way that anything else works except removing it. There's some products out there that are saying wipe on this, wipe on that. This is this restoration compound you can put on there and buff it out. This is all false, ladies and gentlemen. This is just a fake way for people to make money. At best, the products can be used at certain stages, but without removing the actual oxidation or the damage, there is nothing you can do. It just won't work. It's almost as if they're trying to fool you. With that being said, their logic is you can polish a turd and make it shine. No, you have to remove the turd. For this step, I'm using the same drill with a white 3-inch sanding disc, a 3MP800. Notice the white snow, notice the nice ripples on the headlight. Notice not pushing, but yet firm and flat against the headlight. Smooth strokes without lifting, without jerking, without any improper motions. You want to get used to letting the line of or edge of the drill to not surpass the edge of the light. You never really want to do this, not with the drill. It's too much pressure, it's too much friction. The likelihood of burning through the tape on the outside edges of the light are higher than not, and that's where you get paint burn or paint scraping and scratching, and you do not want that, especially if you're working on a customer's car. It's very hard to explain. We know how to remove those, and we also provide scratch removal, but that is not something you want to do. You're there for headlight restoration, not to repair the customer's vehicle, which is timely and costs money. This next step is half luxury and half necessity, a blower. It pretty much keeps all the fine dust and particles away from your headlight restoration, because these next couple steps you're not going to want that around. For this next step, I'll be using a 3MP3000 Trizac pad, which is pretty much a super fine sanding pad designed for wet sanding, and it's the only one that's actually a pad. It has a spongy-like texture, and as you see, the magic happens there. The liquid is water, nothing but regular water from the tap. You can use distilled water, you can use bottled water, which I do sometimes, but it is quite unnecessary. Smooth strokes, just like with waxing, you want to get your overlaps in to make sure that everything or every square inch of this light has been touched by this. As long as the water is clear and in drinkable condition, you can drink tap water, I wouldn't recommend it, but it's not going to kill you tomorrow. As long as it's in drinkable, clear condition, you can use it. And this is done with moderate pressure. All of these stages are done with loose, moderate pressure. Never push. Hard. This next step here, this liquid is concentrated glass cleaner, nothing special. When doing a headlight restoration, you want to keep in mind you want to use all liquids that are safe and removable for paint. You're working on a vehicle that is about, on the outside at least, 95% paint. You need to keep that in mind. You do not want to hurt the paint. You pretty much spray it and let it sit. This is moving all of the particles and saturates away from the light. It's also dehydrating the light once it evaporates, same way alcohol would. You want to make sure the light is dry before you start the next step. Using a clean microfiber towel, wipe away. And as you see, as I'm pointing, you want to inspect while you're wiping away, while it's still wet, before it evaporates or dehydrates itself out, the appearance of it. If there's going to be any defects, any smudging, any scratches, any things you feel that you cannot take out or that will be seen at the end part of the headlight restoration, you will notice it in this step. In this next step, I'm changing drills to a 3-inch 12-volt polisher, which produces about 2800 RPM, This is good for polishing, as though with polishing you need a little bit of friction, a little bit of heat, a lot more speed. You can do it with a regular driver, a regular drill, but you will not produce the professional clarity and results, as you will see coming up here once I start. Also using a 3M orange finessed pad. With that, as I said once again, I love the 3M products. I use almost exclusively 3M products. Just superior once again, not getting paid to say that. As you see right here, as I dabbed all of the compound polish on there, which you could probably use any compound polish, but you know me, I use the 3M polish. It's actually designed for headlights. It's one of the only ones that are actually designed for headlights. As you can see, that clarity right there, you can pretty much stop at this point and be done with the headlight restoration, but you would not be a proper headlight restoration. It would not be a professional headlight restoration. Meaning behind that is it looks good and it's clear and it would sell, but it would come back probably within 6 months or less and not look as well. You want to get a protection on it, of course, and that is the next step coming up. Coming up here on the last step, you want to make sure that you wipe clear with a microfiber towel all of the dust, any kind of moisture drops, any little thing that you see on the light or around the light, especially dust in between the folds of the light and the car where we taped. This is where a blower really comes in handy. You want to get all the dust around from the engine bay, from the side of the car, on the bottom, within about a foot or more around the headlight. The microfiber towel works real well, but the air really pushes that dust and loose particles around. You don't want any kind of lint or dust floating into your finished product, because it will mess up your finish and not be crystal clear, and that is the objective here, is crystal clear headlight restoration. We have now reached the final and one of the most important steps of the headlight restoration process. This is coating your finished product. You want to coat your finished product evenly as possible. You do not want to overspray or oversaturate. It will start dripping. You can kind of see it. You want to take a painter's method, applying not generous amounts, but little amounts over time. What I like to do is hit the edges first and then overlap 2 or 3 times throughout the whole headlight. You can kind of see it adhere to the headlight. In my experience, I've used all kind of coatings. You never want to put nothing on the headlight that is not designed for the headlight. This is the number one pain in the ass that I get from dealing with customers who bring their car in after somebody has messed up their headlights. People do not put 2K clear or furniture varnish or clear coat paint sprayed out of a paint gun or something if it does not say for headlight restoration or for headlights on the merchandise. Do not put it on. There's so many different things that mess up headlights this way, and also it's terribly hard to get off, damn near impossible, some of it. Spray-ons provide a crystal clear shell, and in my opinion, adhere and last longer, look better, and are easier to use than the wipe-on versions of any kind of headlight clear coat. To get a better understanding of what the headlight looked like before, I go ahead and pan over to the right side of the vehicle. The other headlight was actually worse than this, as you can see at the beginning of the film. And then it became this after my headlight restoration process. Please feel free to like and subscribe for future content. We will be coming up with a lot of interesting stuff.